I call this guy the governor. And the governor has been around. How long has the governor been around? Anyway, he will tell us how long he's been. But however, the governor has taken on the mantle of learning. He's been learning with us here, but he is potentially he's the second person, I think, from the tribe who is actively now teaching others, right? So the governor is now actively teaching others, and for that reason, we are awarding him the award, Student Becomes a Teacher Award. And let's clap hands for the governor, and you can see why I call him the governor, because his name is Lesetja. Lesetja, over to you, brother.
Thanks, TJ, and good afternoon, guys. I hope I'm audible.
Are you also in the car?
Yes, I'm also in the car.
Looks like all Joburg people are all in the car.
Joburg doesn't sleep, so we're always on the move. I was actually attending an auction with my wife earlier this morning. And after that, we came here. We actually at Kyalami. She's got an event here. So I could not find a perfect spot, but I was not going to make an excuse and not pitch up because I don't have a boardroom or a perfect space. So yeah, I have honored the invitation, and thank you very much, TJ, for the recognition. It's truly humbling. Yeah, guys, I prepared a bit of a small presentation that I thought I should share with the tribe. So yeah, so this is a presentation specifically made for today's session. I'll try to be brief, stick to the time, to respect your time. So the theme is about each one teaches one. Because I'm a firm believer that once you have learned something, you have got a duty to share the knowledge, with others, so that people do not make the same mistakes that you have made. One of the quotes that I love is that, which is the reason why I'm investing in property, is that landlords grow rich in their sleep. It is not as simple. Simply because you are a landlord, it does not necessarily mean that you will grow rich in your sleep. So there are a lot of things that you still need to do. There are a lot of lessons that you need to go through. It is not as glamorous, I must say, but I think with the right knowledge, with the right support behind you, you will definitely grow rich in your sleep. Perhaps maybe the saying should be, landlord grow rich in their sleep. Then you can quote me that it's Lesetja. But who's Lesetja? Briefly, I'm a husband to my wife, one wife, and I'm also a father to my two lovely kids. So basically, those are my why I have to wake up early in the morning and do what I need to do. And even over the weekend, I hardly get to spend time with my family, and also after hours, because of the things that one has to do. I'm also what we called a 9 to 5. I'm a public servant, specifically in finance. I'm a senior manager there. I regard myself as also a successful property investor. I'm a speaker, I'm a coach, I'm a mentor, and which will be the focus of my presentation in terms of what I am doing, and the theme of today's presentation. Why do I invest in property? Number one, there are many reasons, and my reasons may not necessarily be yours, but the reason why I'm investing in property is to give a head start, not to my children, not to my grandchildren, but to my great-grandchildren, that I may not even meet. And it's all about the long-term planning. It's all about understanding. Can you imagine one day You're just wondering where perhaps your next meal is gonna come from. And then you get a letter that your great grandparent that you don't even know anything about had actually invested with, say, Old Mutual or whoever it may be. So on a monthly basis, as great grandchildren, you are supposed to be getting 10,000 rand. So they invested that money in 1967. So that money has grown to, you having to get about 10,000 rand per month. Can you imagine the head start that that would give you? You get a head start from a person that you have never met, perhaps even a person that your parents may not even have met. So that is the reason why I'm investing in property, but also for financial freedom, and security. And my financial freedom may be different from your financial freedom. And when we talk about financial freedom, it's more about the time to then say, I want to spend time with my family. I want to do the things that I love, not necessarily the things that I must do because I need to earn money, but the things that you love, and then money will come later. And also, I want money to work for me. I don't want to work for money. I'm working for money at the moment, but it's a legacy that I'm building to make sure that at the end of the day, money works for me. But also for passive income. The rental income that you get when you do invest in property, for an example. And I know it does not necessarily mean that it is passive, depending on what is it that you're actually doing. It may be that you need to put in about an hour a day or about 5 hours a month to earn that income. So so it is passive. You don't have to wake up every day unless it's something that you do on a full-time basis, in which case it's not a passive income. It is part of your career because you could still be doing it, as a property investor, but something that you do on a full-time basis. But also the infinite returns, the tax breaks that we know that they are there when it comes to property. Why? Because we are performing a function that government ought to be performing. So for that, they do reward us. So there are tax breaks. Also for capital appreciation and diversification of my portfolio. I'll try to be as fast as I can. How's the journey been going? And I know I did not mention where I started and so on. If I could go back to there, but I don't have that slide. But basically, where I started and I think I had a session with TJ, rather an interview with TJ, where basically I said my tenants paid for my wedding, because we wanted to do a white wedding. Did not have the cash because we know how much it actually costs. But with the power of property, because I bought that property in 2016, I bought it for 300,000 plus VAT. At that time, it was 14%. It worked out to 342,000, excluding the transfer and bond costs. Got 100% financing. It cash flow for about almost 3,000. It had an equity of almost about 350,000. So I was able to tap into that equity and gave my wife the wedding that she wanted. I'm known as a person who is investing in property through property auctions. Like I said, I was at an auction today, but not necessarily for property. We're just looking for household stuff. So they are available at auction properties as well. But in terms of the journey, and then I joined forces with TJ. I became his student, because I used to say to him, he's been mentoring me from a distance. I must mention, I think my family even knew him before they met him, because all his podcasts, I used to listen to them, to the podcast, from work. I don't watch TV these days, except when I watch Sundowns, because that is the only team in the country. If you don't not watching Sundowns, I don't know what you'd be watching, but that's a topic for another day. So on YouTube, my family knew him. There is this, not so nice voice that they would hear from my laptop, the voice of TJ when he was teaching. And when I finally joined his tribe, it was an honor for me to finally be his student. And that was in 2021, I think. Yeah, 2021. So that's when I joined his tribe. In 2022, a friend of mine, we joined forces. I also introduced him. He became a student to the tribe as well. So within a space of a year, we managed to buy 3 properties. Because I've been in the game for a bit, longer. So we moved from the normal buy to let to to the multi-layered block of flats. So this is the first block of flat that we bought. I bought it at an auction in February 2022. We bought it for 2.4 with a rental income of 55,000 per month. So here's the details of the property. And again in March the following month, they were all financed by TAF. We got 80% loan to value. This one is in Terfontaine. We bought it in March the following month at an auction as well. Bought it for 2.3 as well. Got 80% loan to value. It's got a rental income of 50,000 rand before the cost, of course. There's another one that's not here that we bought in Soshanguve. We bought that one for cash for R1 million, with a gross yield of, with a rental income of about 37,000 rand. And this year, I then joined forces with another friend of mine to venture into student accommodation. So I've made an offer, got financing now. There's one property that we are buying, student accommodation, in Brixton, accredited for 30 students. Once it is fully occupied, it is running, so we're not going to do anything. My strategy has always been to take over what is already there, maybe later on to maximize it. But because I'm working full time, I would not have time to do development, to do renovations and all these other things. I prefer to take it as it is running, as long as it meets my investment criteria. So I bought that for 2.7. It's got the rental income of the student accommodation when it is fully occupied and accredited. It gives you, with NEFSAS rate, it gives you about 131,000. So that's a student accommodation. The plan this year, not the plan, the goal this year was to buy a 200 beds. At the end of the year, we must have 100 beds. It was 100 beds at the end of the year. So we currently at 30. We are 4 months away before the end of the year. So I think we can still get to the 100 beds that we want. So if I were to, what would I say to a young Lesetja? So that is a young person who's just started working, who may be a university student. One, start early so that you can then harness the power of compound, investing, because it is quite massive. And number two, invest in yourself. The rates are massive. As a young person, I would say forget about the parties and those type of life, young lifestyle that young people lead. Not that you should not go out and partying, but don't do it excessively. So invest in yourself, because the returns are massive. Because what you've learned, as a 21-year-old, it will sustain you for the rest of your life, because it remains in you, it remains in your mind. And the third one is get a mentor and a coach. That will definitely propel your journey. And also you need to have an emotional discipline. Emotional discipline is, you don't have to do what the next person is actually doing, but rather you can learn from them. So don't want to live like the Jones, because you don't know how much they are spending. So the concept of why each one teaches one, why am I teaching one? I like giving back. It's a way of me to give back, because I believe that, whom much is given, much is expected. The knowledge that we have, we've got that responsibility to give back, to our brothers and sisters, so that our community can then grow. and also to create a positive impact in our society. Because once you have an educated, and I put that educated in inverted commas, people who are financially literate and know how to do investment, how to do due diligence, and so on. So that will have a positive impact in our society. And also to build stronger relations and networks. It becomes easier for me to pick up the phone and WhatsApp a friend. And some people that I don't even know, that people that I'm working with, that I've partnered with, we have never even met. Physically, we know each other on social media. That's where we met, and we've been able to build those relationships and the networks. But also, it's not about necessarily a one-way street, because I believe that in the process of me teaching, I'm not only enhancing my skills, but I also get an opportunity to learn from those that I may either be teaching. Like I said, it's not a one-way street, because I always say I don't have all the answers to the question that people may have. But the other thing is about leaving a lasting, legacy. So because we have that responsibility to teach our people, we have that responsibility to teach the next person, so that we leave the world a better place than we found it. Yeah, so that's briefly, that's it from me. We can keep in touch. Those are my contact details all over Lesetja Toona. On social media. It's all Lesetja Toona on all the social media pages. So yeah, I'm definitely honored and privileged for the award that the TJ tribe and the TJ has bestowed on me. And I hope one day I'll also have that honor to give an award to someone else. But also, I think TJ, we also deserve your flowers while you're still alive. I think the work that the work that you're actually doing. I'm not saying this because I'm on the podium, but what you should know is that the work that you're doing and the impact that you've had on the industry, not on all of us, on the property industry, it is quite massive. You may not appreciate it at the moment, but I know once you move into certain rooms and you mention the name of TJ, people don't frown. People either it would give me a credibility, the mere fact that I mentioned you, and the mere fact that I said I've been mentored by TJ, it actually works to my favor. So I also want to honor you, my brother, and thank you very much for what you've done to the entire industry, and don't tire. Continue to empower us, and we must also continue to take the baton from you, and continue to teach the next generation. Thank you very much, TJ, and thank you very much to Tribe.
Amazing stuff. That was Lesetja, the governor. Well done, well done. Lesetja became my wife's friend before he became the part of the family of the tribe. He came sideways. But here's the thing about Lesetja that I'd like to appreciate whilst we are still on Lesetja. The one trick that I would applaud anyone else to do, right, is Lesetja been stuck with his, I think I want to call him your primary investor. And you brought him to school to learn. And he came in for the first mastermind, the second mastermind, and the day after you guys were just buying stuff. It was like money was on tape. And I want to say to you, this is all about the whole concept of husband and wife. If you're finding it challenging for you to invest, you got the money at home, maybe the problem is not you.
Yes.
Greetings. Hi. So maybe the challenge is not, it's not you, but it's maybe the partner. Bring your partner to school. And the conversations becomes easier. And maybe it's not about a partner, a bad partner. It's someone that you are luring. You know they have money and they're scared to be investing. Bring them to school, all right? Pay for them. Tell them that I have people. When I went to the UK, do you know that I went with someone else? There's someone that I went with to the UK. And I won't mention names, but it was intentional. And the results will soon show. And I've planted, all I've done is planting seeds because I know they have more resources than what I've got. But I know that their mind is not working like the way I am. So, Lesetja, thanks a lot, brother. And enjoy your guys' outing as you go along.